The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Coos Bay, Oregon, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32943. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start down at the front bumper. Just under the front bumper, you'll find 2 tow hooks attached to the frame rail. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find dual air horns, passenger and driver side. Located on the passenger side, you'll find your electronic siren PA speaker system. Let's move up onto the top of the bumper. Located on the top, on the passenger side, you'll find an 1.5 inch swivel discharge. Located directly in the center, you'll find a tubbed storage location with cover for your hose. And then moving over to the driver's side, on the face of the bumper here, on the top, you'll find your mechanical siren. Let's move up onto the body itself. On the outer edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator light. Moving just inside on the face, you're going to find headlights, low and high beam. The high beam is on the inside. Moving up, you'll find a combination turn indicator and also emergency warning light cluster. Moving up onto the center, just above the Coos Bay name, you'll find 3 windshield wipers on your one-piece single windshield. On the outer edges, you have dual function mirrors, convex and also flat. Up onto the top of the brow, you'll find your running lights, and in the very center, a forward-facing flood. On the outer edges, you'll find side-facing floodlights. Moving up onto the roof itself, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located within that emergency warning light bar, an Opticom system. Let's take a look at some close-ups of the items that we just talked about. First, starting with the front discharge. This is an 1.5 inch swivel discharge, foam and water capable. Located in the center is your tubbed storage location for that front discharge hose. It does have a cutout for that hose so the lid can be closed. Headlight structure, turn and emergency warning lights. As we now look to the step well, on the driver's side, you'll find an air eject. This is a Coos auto eject air outlet. You're also going to find a shore inlet 20 amp auto eject plug. Let's now move to the puck portion. This is going to be the 2 discharges, number 1 and number 3. These are both 2.5 inch discharges. You'll also find a warning label located here under pressurized hazard, and be cautious when removing caps that may be under pressure. As we move downward, you'll see the number 3 driver's side discharge. It's in purple. As we move to the center, the blue tape covering the inlet. This is your large diameter pump inlet. To the right, you'll find a warning label here regarding foam failure, not to mix different brands, consistencies, or types. And then you'll also find the lever here for your foam function and also a foam function inlet. Down at the very bottom, you'll find all your associated discharge drains. They're color-coded and also labeled. Next to it is the driver's side auxiliary inlet. It is a 2.5 inch female inlet. As we move just above the puck configuration to the crosslays or speed lay, you'll find 2 crosslays located here. The release mechanism for those speed lays is located in the center. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find backboard storage. Let's move up to the next set of crosslays. First, on the far left toward the cab, you'll find additional backboard storage. In addition, with a dead lay, indicating that there is no hose connected to the pump. Located in the center, same configuration with the release mechanism. And then all the way to the very far right, this is your 2.5 inch crosslay. There's also a warning label here regarding entanglement hazard. Be cautious because of those hoses coming above. There's the possibility of entanglement. Let's go ahead and move now up to the very top. This is the roll-up compartment door. If this light is illuminated, you've engaged your pump properly. We'll move down to the next section here. The green module is your foam A tank. This is the level indicator of foam in the tank. Moving into the gray section, this is your master intake. To the right of it, you'll find your master discharge. Located between those 2 gauges in the same gray area is the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. As we move to the right, you'll find your PCM fault. There is an audible indicator and also a visual indicator. The audible indicator does have an outer bezel that will turn, dampening the sound. As we look to the discharge ports, they are clearly labeled and color-coded. Moving to the right, your system is a Husky 3 foam system. And at the very bottom, you'll find a real blowout. That's a twist, not a pull. Let's move to the right of the foam specifications, where you'll find your primer for your fire pump. There are also operating instructions regarding at least 1,000 RPMs prior to engaging the primer. Let's move to the right to your Pierce pressure throttle governor. If illuminated in yellow, it would be a check engine light. In the center, you'll find a digital readout for your RPM. And to the right, if illuminated, it would be in red, is a stop engine. The next section down is going to be all of your engine diagnostic information. Down from that, in the blue module, this is your water tank. Moving to the right in the red, this is the silence button for that audible alarm. And then just down in the same area, you'll find the menu button, which allows you to scroll through the various menu functions. Let's move down into the black area. First, on the left, you have the option of choosing pressure control, or on the far right, throttle control, RPM. Digital readout in the middle. Located just down from that is the control module. That's the selector between pressure or throttle. Located directly in the center is your throttle ready. It is a green indicator that you can engage your throttle. Let's move all the way to the far right. If you've pre-designated presets and set them up in advance, this is your preset button. And then just beneath that, you'll find your throttle with the ability in the center to push, which will move you to idle. Let's move up to the upper right-hand corner of the pump panel. Let's take a look at all of these items. Let's first start on the far left-hand side. We'll start with your Husky foam system. You have the Husky 3 foam system. It does have a system on-off button on the red module. That's the green button. As we move down, you'll find your foam percentage. It is a digital readout. Down in the lower section in the gray, you'll find increase or decrease. And located in the center is the prime button. There are operating instructions at the very top that clearly indicate the status of how you should operate the system, in addition with a system status light indicating with LED green, red, and yellow lighting. Let's move over to the right, where you'll find just beneath that Husky foam system, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line, your tank to pump, and then just right next to it, you'll find that 2.5-inch crosslay. Let's move to the right. This vehicle is equipped with 3 electronic valves. These are Acron valves. First, the deluge discharge, the number 2 discharge, and also your large diameter discharge. Driver's side rear discharge is located on the right of that. And at the very top, you'll find your intake relief valve. There are instructions on how to operate it on the actual module. Just down from that, you'll find your port for your Firecom headset system. Moving down to the left, you'll find this placard, which is the minimum operation maintenance schedule. This indicates for the 150, 200, and 250 PSI test pressures. GPMs are on the left, RPMs on the right-hand side. The next label down is only trained personnel should operate this equipment only after reading proper training. Down at the very bottom and also in the middle, you'll find all your associated color-coded and labeled drains. Located behind the pan door, as we open this pan door, you'll find operating instructions here regarding the foam handle for operations for fill and use. The yellow handles in the very back indicated on the picture on the left. You also have your manual pump shift. There is an indicator and also a protected switch. Let's move now to the side of the pump panel, where you'll find your front flood, driver's side scene, passenger side scene lights, and also your rear scene lights. Let's move out of this area to the side of the vehicle, where you're going to find SCBA bottle storage locations in addition with oxygen storage bottle location. This is in front of the rear wheel. To the rear of the rear wheel, you'll find the fill locations for your ultra low sulfur diesel and also your 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. As we move just over the rear wheel, you'll find an emergency light and also in the compartment your pegboard or tool board. The D handle allows you to access behind. Moving to the next compartment back, you'll find the release mechanism for the rollout shelf on the bottom. And then underneath, you'll find folding wheel chocks with a release mechanism for both of them. Let's take a look at the rear of the apparatus. First, turning at the left and right, you'll find backup, turn, and brake. At the very top, we're going to find a scene light. Just above that, you'll find emergency warning lights. There's one located at the very top and then also just above the step. Let's now move to these cupped switches. We'll talk a little bit about those. These control the lighting regarding the rear scene lights and also the hose bed lights. Just above this location is where you're going to find an additional pan door to access the D handle, 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof. Above that, in the next pan door, you'll find a 10-foot attic and also long tool storage. As we move to the rear, you're going to find the driver's side rear discharge. Just beneath that discharge, you'll find a warning here regarding pressure hazard. Pressurized caps may be dangerous while opening. You'll also find recessed into the back your backup camera. Just beneath that, you'll find a warning label here regarding entanglement from hose. Be cautious where those hoses come from above. As we move to the right of this image, you'll find two warning labels here regarding fall injury and also an egress caution. As we move to the center of the drop-down roll-up compartment, you'll find a booster line. Inside there, you'll also find controls for that booster line regarding the reel rewind. At the very top, you'll also find the reel rewind fuse. Up in the top, you have your hose trough for your suction tubes. Moving all the way up to the top of the apparatus, you'll find these yellow highlighted diamonds that are reflective. This is to indicate the walkway. Also located in the front dunnage area, you'll find your fill location for top fill for water and also foam fill. There is a warning label on that foam regarding not mixing different brands or consistencies. On the left, this is the module regarding your Husky 3 foam system. Located in the center, you'll find large diameter deluge, and then to the right, you'll find an electronic valve for that deluge. Let's take a look at some close-ups of those images that we just talked about. First, this is that warning label regarding not mixing different brands of foam, consistencies, or types. As we move to the center, this is the top location for your water fill. Just in front of that, you'll find the master stream device and also the electronic valve. As we move to the Husky foam system, you'll find a fill location and also a check location on the top of this module. Let's go ahead and look to the cab. You'll find the cab is a non-walking surface. That's what these warning labels are here. It's extremely slippery. Let's now move to the rear section of the apparatus. This is the passenger side rear compartment. There are two compartments here, two shelves located here and also a pull-out tray. The release mechanism was on the lower right. There are three SCBA bottle storages in front of and in rear of the rear wheel. In addition, with the center compartment houses adjustable shelving in a roll-up compartment with LED lighting. Let's now move just to the forward section. I would like to point out in the upper right-hand corner, there is, when plugged into shore power, these two outlets and also a future 12-volt location. As we move to the puck area location, you'll find the same configuration as the driver's side as you will on the passenger side. This is a through compartment. Let's move now to the lower section. You'll find your cab lift operations. There are some caution and some danger information here, and there's also instructions on cab lift. Large diameter pump intake, that is where the blue tape is protecting the inset. You'll also find the two electronic valves on this side. First, the 2.5 inch and also with an override because of it being an electronic valve, and also the large diameter, which is green, including an override. On the lower left side of the image, you'll find the 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet. That's a female coupling. And down at the very bottom, you'll all the associated drains, color-coded and labeled. There also is warning here regarding fall and not to ride on the side of the apparatus. This is the cab lift operations. First, to raise the cab on the left-hand side instructions and also to lower the cab. Close-up of the passenger side auxiliary inlet, 2.5 inch. As we move to the very bottom, color-coded and labeled drains. Moving to the right, you'll find the two electronic valves, 2.5 and large diameter.
Let's now move to the cab section of the apparatus, where you'll find access behind the passenger door and also the driver door. These are closed compartments with inside. As we move to the rear seats, you'll find 4 seats, 2 fold out on each side and 2 stationary with SCBA access, in addition with 4 headset locations. As we move to the center, you'll find your daily checks for oil and transmission. As we move to the officer seat, you'll find at all points of entry at all doors these warning labels. In addition, in this space, you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid and also a foot pedal for your siren. We'll take a look at some of those items close up. First, let's start with the fill location for your windshield wiper. That's at the hinge location of the passenger door. Foot pedal for the electronic siren. And as we move to the dash, we'll find 2 12-volt cigarette barrel style access points. And then you'll also find mechanical siren and siren brake. Located between the driver and passenger seat, you'll find a hinged, latched compartment. Let's look overhead in the officer area. First, you're going to find in the center your fire comm system. As we move to the left of this location, you'll find your PA system and electronic siren. General view overhead, directly in the center is where you'll find this red light illuminating if you have an open compartment or door ajar, not to move your apparatus. As we move to the passenger side, points of entry, we're going to have those warning labels on the door panel. In addition, when you're plugged into shore power, this will activate charging your battery system. As we look to about the right ankle of the operator, you'll find this yellow placard manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for the city of Coos Bay. It has the date of manufacture, the 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation. It also has the VIN number, component, fluid capacity, and fluid types. As we look to the floor of the apparatus, you'll find your mechanical siren just left of the brake treadle. As we move about the left knee, you'll find your master battery switch. To the right, you'll find your engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port. And then just beneath that, you'll find 4 switches: ABS diagnostic, DPF regen, engine diagnostic, and then your regen inhibit. Moving just to the right, you'll find a digital readout for your pump pressure. This is while you're in the pump and roll mode, and also a water tank visual indicator. You'll also find your flat mirror and convex mirror controls. Let's move up onto the dash. Left-hand side is where you'll start the start ignition switch. To the right, you'll find a small switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master, allows you to access emergency lights on and off. Also your headlight switch, and then to the right, the panel switch, which controls the dimming of the panel lights. This is your OK to engage the high idle switch with an indicator. As we move to the dash itself, let's start on the left-hand side with the transmission, oil, DEF level, and water temperature. To the right, you'll find your volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. Directly in the center, tachometer and speedometer, diagnostic information above and below those 2 large gauges. Let's move just to the right, where you'll find your monitor for your backup camera. We'll also find a set of switches, which we'll go over in just a few moments. To the right, you'll find your windshield wiper fluid and also activation. Secondary set of switches, and then we'll also move back up to those switches now and discuss what those are. This is your stationary OK to pump and roll. This engages your water pump and then also your foam system. To the right, you'll find a push to apply your windshield wiper fluid, and then right to left will be on, low, medium, and high settings. Let's move to the next set of switches down, where you'll find the engine brake on and off, setting for that engine brake for low, medium, and high, off-road traction, mirror heat, and also your load manager. You can see when you depress one of the switches, the individual LED light will activate. Let's move down from this location. This is going to be a yellow pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Located directly in the center is your Allison transmission pad, and you can see just on the right hand side there is information here that says pump in neutral. To the right in the center, you're going to find your climate control for heat defrost and also heat. Located in the overhead section over the operator, you'll find this placard: height 10 feet 1 inches, length 31 feet 9.75 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 45,000 pounds. It also houses your job information. If you make any changes, please update this placard. Moving to the right, we'll find a set of switches regarding the emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. This emergency master is connected to the one down at the lower left-hand side where the headlights are located. Let's move to the right. We're going to find first your Opticom switch. The red is a siren brake. That's for your mechanical siren. For your electronic siren, you have the ability to have it in the siren mode or horn mode, and then you have perimeter lights. Moving to the right, you'll find the front flood, driver's side alley, passenger side alley, driver's side scene lights, and passenger side scene lights, and then the rear scene lights. Moving just to the right, you're going to find your Pierce seatbelt information. This is this module. Red indicating someone is in the seat but they are not belted. Green indicating that they are in the seat and they are belted. Let's take a general view here of the entire overhead section, where we can identify where the yellow placard is located in the upper left, push on and off red and white lights, 2 pull strings for your air horns, your Firecom headset system and hangers, and then you also have 2 fans. Let's spin back outside now, take a look at your department logo, Coos Bay Fire Rescue. Congratulations on your new fire apparatus, Coos Bay, Oregon. Job number 32943. If you have any questions about this apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire Sales Representative. Thank you and congratulations.